thanks for tuning in today. My name is Matt, this is the Pedal Picassos. Just fixed up my microphone now. Now, I always get asked in the comment section on our YouTube channel, how are you recording the guitars? So, I thought today I'd show you 5 different ways that we can record guitars here in our YouTube studio. This is a studio I built purposely in my shed. It's sort of all framed out and soundproofed specifically just to film these YouTube videos. So, first of all, I'm going to show you the 3 main ways that I do it, and then I'm going to show you 2 extra ways that I don't normally use, but are also still really, really effective. Now, the first one is the Strymon Iridium, of course, because it is an amp in a box. Now, this just goes guitar. Today I'm going through this protein pedal. Because I love it. So this just goes from my guitar through the protein pedal into the Strymon Iridium. Now the Strymon Iridium gives you 3 or 4 different amps. There's a Marshall, a Vox, and a Fender setting with a heap of different cabs for each one as well. You can save a heap of presets in it. Now, from here, go from the Iridium into this Behringer X32 mixer, and then that gives me 32 channels straight into GarageBand on this Mac. So it takes up 2 of those channels if I'm running it in full stereo, or just one of those channels today if I'm running it in mono, like I am. So that is the first one. There's the Vox. There's the Fender. Now these also have a little bit of reverb. I've got a bit of reverb running on this today, but normally, don't hold me to this, but the way I would normally record guitars is I would record them really dry if I was recording a jingle or some music for somebody, and then I would add the reverb later on. But anyway, you can add a reverb as you're recording if you like. Now, the second way, if you have an amp like this, Boss Katana Artist Mark II, it on the back of it has an output that lets you go record, lets you plug straight into the recording studio, into your mixing desk, and it has a cab sim as well, so it sounds like it's going through a speaker cabinet, as well as being in the front of the amp. So, I'm going to switch over to that. So if you've already been watching our 1 pedal and 3 amps series, you'll already be pretty familiar with the Boss Katana Mark II as well. So again, it goes from the guitar into my protein pedal, and then it goes into the Boss Katana, just into the front like you always would, into a normal guitar amp, but there is this output on the back. I'll get some B-roll of that to show you. And then that goes into the Behringer X32 mixer, which is USB'd into GarageBand. So that's the second way. So there's a few different amps that have simulated outputs. I think the Rev G20, lots and lots. I know all the Line 6 amps do, that sort of thing. So the third way that you can record amps, now this is one I use a lot because I love my old-fashioned valve amps because I'm a bit of a nerd. I'm just going to flick it over to it now in the radio headlight. So this is my Marshall Astoria behind me here, the big green amp, and you can see sitting on top of it right here, that is called the Wazza Tube Amp Expander. Now that goes between the head, and it goes in between the head and the cab. So it takes all the power from the head and gets rid of it pretty much via heat. And then it's got its own internal guitar amp, its own internal power amp, which then feeds the speaker cabinet. So I can turn the Marshall Astoria up to full bore as loud as I want, and the tube amp expander will absorb all of that energy and just get rid of it. And then it will just send out its own amplified signal to the speaker. So you can have your amp up as much as you like, but you've got individual volume control over your speaker cab, which is awesome. Now, the other cool thing that the Wazza Tube Amp Expander does is that it has its own speaker cabinets built into it, emulated speaker cabs. So you can run direct from the back of the Wazza Tube Amp Expander into the Behringer X32 mixer, then USB into GarageBand. So that is the third way. So yeah, I use the Strymon Iridium, I use the Katana and its simulated output, I use the Wazza Tube Amp Expander for valve amps. Now, the fourth way that you can record your guitar amp is if you have a look in front of the speaker cabinet there, there's a AKG condenser microphone. So it sounds like this. Now, lots of people use Shure SM57s to mic up their speaker cabinets. I like a condenser mic in front of it like that. Now, of course, I've just put it up there and just sort of put it towards the center of the cone, a little bit offset there. But honestly, if you're going to microphone up your speaker cabinet and go just microphone into your mixer, into your recording setup, really spend a lot of time playing around with it, recording it, listening to it back, move it a little bit, record it, listen to it back, move it a little bit more. Because as you move towards the center of the cone, it becomes quite bassy. As you move towards the edge of the speaker, it becomes quite trebly. So you got to really sort of find that sweet spot that you want. And it can take a while. It can take sort of 15, 20 minutes to get it right. And then it just takes one person to kick the mic stand or it to just start flopping over or something on its own and you've lost your tone. So keep an eye on the microphone. It's not always consistent like a simulated cab, of course, or an IR. So just, if you're going to mic up your cabinets, make sure you're really careful. And of course, when you're recording in the room, everything has to be really quiet. So if I had a drummer playing in here, there is a drum kit over there, actually behind the camera. If the drummer was playing in here with a condenser mic going, you're trying to record the guitar's amp through that condenser mic, it will pick up the drums as well. So that's something else to bear in mind. I think there's an SM7B or something like that. You'll see a lot of dudes using it at the moment for podcasts. Really big microphone. That's also very good for recording guitar cabinets as well. So that's it. That's 4 of them. I'm going to have to stop recording and head over to the desk in the edit suite to show you the 5th version. But just while we're going with the Strymon Iridium, there are lots of pedals on the market that can go direct. So here's 2 from Sonic Cake, for example. These are like distortion, reverb, delay, some sort of modulation, and they have a speaker cabinet and amp built into them as well. So it's sort of like full little rigs. I know Tech 21 do a couple of full little rigs that you can use as well. And there's things like the Head Rush, the Quad Cortex, the HX Stomp, which I use at gigs. They all have amps and cabs built into them as well. And you can use them to record as well. All right, I'm going to stop recording, stop talking, and jump over to the computer and show you the last way. Hold tight. Hello, welcome back to the mixing desk. Right, now, the 5th way that I also record guitars here for either jingles or YouTube or whatever we're doing at the time is right here in GarageBand, which I've got open at the moment. So this is the HX native plugin, which pretty much gives you a full-blown Line 6 Helix as a plugin for your computer. So I have got my Telecaster just plugged directly into the Behringer X32 mixer, and that's going via USB into this little MacBook here. And then from there, it is doing its thing. So you can just find an amp. You can turn different things on and off. You can select a heap of different things. All from the comfort of your desk. So you can just sit here and plug straight into your mixer, straight into the computer, and Bob's your uncle, you are done. So you've got, like I said, you've got the full suite there. So anyway, I'll take you back over there and finish the bloody video off. Back in a sec. So there you have it, 5 different ways that I record my guitars. Hopefully you found it useful. So yeah, you can go the Strymon Iridium route. You can use a cab simmed output from the back of an amp like the Katana. You can use a Waza tube amp expander. Now there's also an aux box and a few different other ones. I think the Torpedo cab. I think there's a few different things like that around. You can use a microphone. Again, there's a heap of different microphones and a billion different ways to mic up a guitar cab from the placement to the angle to having extra microphones around to pick up some natural reverb. There is a billion different ways to actually use a physical microphone to record your speaker cabinet. So have fun with that. It's a lifetime of learning, and you're never ever happy with it, no matter how good you think your sound is. You always come back to a mic cab 6 months later and think, oh God, what was I thinking? But anyway, it sounds good at the time. And then of course there is the full plug-in version where you've got all your amps as a plug-in that you can just drop into GarageBand, that sort of thing, or Logic, or whatever you're using at the time. I sort of flick between Logic and Reaper and GarageBand. It just depends how many inputs I'm using at once and what I'm recording stuff for. But anyway, there you go. 5 different ways you can record your guitar. I hope you found it helpful. I'll just leave a comment if you've got any questions about plugging stuff in, or but with the MacBook Pro, everything, especially the Behringer XC2 mixer, was really just plug in and play. I didn't have to download any drivers or anything like that, so it makes life very, very easy. But if you've got any questions, leave a comment and I'll get back to it. Thumbs up, like, all that sort of stuff. And I'll get to as many comments as I can if you've got questions. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you found it helpful, and we'll see you next time. Bye.